thought I'd save some try for part two. So in part one, we listened to Nick Tercconi's speech about how he's going to strip everybody's citizenship. And now in part two, we're going to break it down and discuss it. Now, the first point that I want to discuss is that he talks about stripping the citizenship of Islamists, illegal immigrants, and unintegrated migrant communities. So let's take a look at who those people actually are. So what exactly is an Islamist? Because I've been called an Islamist many times. And as a Muslim, I'm very confused about that. Yes, I'm a Muslim. What is an Islamist? Does that mean that you are going to deport every single Muslim in this country? All those millions and millions of Muslims? And what happens to the British white Muslims, those that are from this nation but reverted to Islam? Like, how does that work? And then you're talking about illegal immigrants. Do you realise, Nick, that when immigrants come to this country, they have to register themselves? So there's no such thing as an illegal immigrant. So are you talking about anyone escaping war, poverty, seeking safety, men, women, and children? So you're going to deport all of them. Okay. What are you going to do? Send them back to war zones? Anyway, he then talks about unintegrated migrant communities. Now, what is unintegrated? Because I consider myself extremely integrated. I had a lot of English white friends at school. I speak English at home with my family. I have an English job. I pay English taxes. I'm part of this country. So am I unintegrated or am I integrated? Am I an Islamist? Am I not an Islamist? Am I going to get deported? Am I not going to get deported? Because it's a bit confusing, Nick. Are they going to have people going around measuring how integrated you are? Well, you have to answer a questionnaire, and if you fail a certain point, you're not integrated enough. How does that work? What is the measure of integrated? Is it to be Christian and white? Or is it to speak the language? Because when you go to another country, you have to learn the language. And I tell you, I lived in Turkey for 7 years, and a lot of people look like Nick were living over there and didn't speak a word of Turkish. Nobody was kicking them out, were they? Food for thought. But then Nick goes on to add left-wing fascists and commies. But then he's also saying that soft-hearted liberals, that support destroying the culture and the religion of this country are also commies. So does that mean that everyone that's left-wing, everyone that's liberal, everyone that's communist, everyone that doesn't want the immigrants thrown out and are like, immigrants welcome here, refugees welcome here, everyone that is pro-Palestinian, all of these British English people, are you going to deport them as well? What kind of percentage of the country is going to get deported? Are we just going to get left with a nation of oi Savaloys? Help me out here, Nick. How does it work? The thing is, he then goes out to single out Bob Vylan and says that Bob Vylan should be detained, stripped of his citizenship, and deported. A random musical artist that made the chant "Death, Death to the IDF" should have his whole citizenship stripped and he should be deported. Where are we sending him to? Answer me that, Nick. He's a British citizen. And he's not talking about the UK. The IDF are Israeli. You're talking about the UK. What does that have to do with the UK? He didn't say death, death to the UkIP. He didn't say death, death to the Nick, or whatever the hell his name is, Tercconi. He didn't say death, death to the British government. He said death, death to the IDF. And last time I checked, they're nothing to do with the UK. So make your mind up, Nick. Are we talking about the UK? Are we talking about Israel? Do I have to start calling you Nick 10 shekels? Is that where we're going with this? We've got Tommy 10 shekels. Now you're going to be Nick 10 shekels. And then, wait for this, he starts to go on about Shamima Begum. But he doesn't call her Shamima Begum. He's like, Shamima Begum. Come on, man, you butchered a really common surname. And he's like, well, the British government stripped her of her citizenship. Firstly, she was a 15-year-old child that was groomed online. And what the British government did was absolutely horrendous. But secondly, that is not even relevant to the topic at hand here. I don't know why you're bringing that up. What are you going to do? Go around grabbing teenagers and stripping them of their citizenship? Seriously, this man is Looney Tunes. And then he goes on about anyone with recent ancestry in another country will be given the option to voluntarily leave. Now, what is recent ancestry? A parent, a grandparent, a great-grandparent? Like, you're going to come up to us and go, I need to check. Where were your parents born? Were they born in the UK? Where were your grandparents born? Oh, sorry, you could leave. You could leave. And look at the suggestions. Wait. The suggestions of where we could go and the suggestions of the two countries that will be willing to take money from the UK to take about 70% of our citizens is North Korea. Sorry, let me calm down. North Korea and Afghanistan. Somehow, I do not think that North Korea or Afghanistan is going to be like, yeah, UK, send us 70% of your citizens because you are trying to be like white supremacist racists. This man is absolutely delusional. And then he goes on and said that UKIP will strip extremists and those that are here to subvert our faith and our culture of their right to be a British citizen. So all of these people. So if you're an extremist, if you're trying to take away their faith and their culture, like, again, when you talk about faith, you have to remember a lot of the people on the left, a lot of the people that they're calling communists, a lot of the people that they're saying are liberals and all of that, these are Christian people as well. So what's going on? I don't understand why you are trying to make this out to be some kind of religious crusade when there is nothing to do with that. So you're basically saying that we are all here to destroy Christianity and British culture. Nick, no one cares if you want to practice the Christian faith or not. In fact, we would prefer it if you did, because then maybe we'd have more in common. But unfortunately, your churches are empty and they're being sold as nightclubs, cafes. They're being turned into flats and even into mosques because the Muslims are like, oh no, that's a house of worship. We can't let it be turned into a bar with alcohol being served and people being disrespected. So if we're talking about Christianity, you guys need to go to church. You need to practice your religion, right? Don't come at us if Christianity is failing in this country and you're not going to church and you're not paying your tithes. You're being a little bit tight. I want to know, Nick, when was the last time you paid your tithes and how much did you pay? And by the way, am I integrated enough because I know about church tithes? Integrated enough because I know about oil, savaloys. No, seriously. So the way I see it, Nick Tercconi is just trying to appease his audience who believes that all of us should sod off and they want to take their country back. None of this will come into fruition. And if it does, I'm very happy, Nick, for you to pay my cost, pay my flight, my relocation cost, all of that. And I will happily go because I have spent 7 years living abroad and I had an absolutely marvelous time. But this is my country and I choose to be here. But if you really are deporting us, understand everything will go with us. And you will be left here like some, I don't know, Lord of the Flies shit going on. So Nick Tercconi, worry more about the fact that you do not have a culture without immigrants than worry about throwing us out. Honestly, yalla, bye-bye.